the time. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of NixCast, a weekly podcast about video games and adjacent items. Tonight, we have the usual crowd. We have Mike over here in the orange or red shirt, depending on what his camera feels like it's doing tonight. What's up, Mike? What have you been playing this week?
Oh, I've been playing a ton of stuff. Still playing Tony Hawk 1 and 2 on Xbox, trying to relive my youth. That's what I've been doing this week. I'm still 3 months behind everybody else. I'm trying to catch up and beat Last of Us 2. And it's twice as long as the first game, so I didn't prepare myself enough for that. But having a blast, and should be getting through everything this week.
Awesome. What part are you at?
On Tony Hawk? Or on The Last of Us?
On The Last of Us 2.
Oh, I think I'm close to the end of the game. I hope so. Like, I've already played as Abby, played as Ellie, like 6 times for each of them. Now I'm back in Santa Barbara as Ellie. I'm going after Abby and, having a good time. I'm putting out videos for it as I go along, so hopefully everybody else can follow along with me when I get there.
Did you find the psych office, Mike?
No, I didn't find the psych office, but I did see a couple of pineapples.
Okay, good.
Next, we have Kyle. What's up, Kyle? What have you been playing this week?
Big surprise to everybody in this room. I've been playing Vermintide 2 again, because it's Vermintide 2 and I love it. I actually just picked it up on Steam. Been playing back through on there. Starting over completely on Steam. It's on Steam sale. So I figured I'd pick it up and start grinding through that again. There's a bunch of DLCs I never played. That, a little bit of Alien Isolation, World of Horror, which is really... World of Horror, it's a really weird, like... It plays like an older computer role-playing game. Kind of text-based adventures with some graphics. Yeah, it's old school stuff. It's fun. It's something different.
But you like it.
I like it. It's something spooky. It's getting me into the Halloween. And I actually played a bunch of Among Us today with my kids, which was fun.
That's spooky as well.
That's spooky. I did bite Dan TDM's head off. I don't know if it was really Dan TDM, but I did bite his head off in the game, and I have video proof of that.
So I'm thinking this is just side tangent. I'm thinking Among Us is kind of like New Age Clue, but in space, is how I like to put it. Like, somebody killed somebody in the cafeteria with the,
It is. It's like, where'd you find the body? It's like, they were in the cafeteria, like, with the candlestick, yeah.
With Professor Plum. Yeah, exactly.
Sean, what's up, man? What have you been playing this week?
Hello. Well, I have gotten into the Game Pass game. I've finally tried the Jurassic World Evolution game, which is actually pretty fun and addicting. And on the Switch, I just finished getting all 120 stars in Mario 64 on the 3D All-Stars remake. Thank you.
Yeah, that's some dedication right there.
We're going to put in a clap track right after you said that.
And a lot of online walkthroughs, because I don't have the patience as I did as a kid.
Yeah, that's completely understandable.
You're telling me you don't remember them all from 1994 or whatever it was?
No. So thank you, YouTube.
All right. Yeah. What would we do without it? As for me, I've been playing Octopath Traveler this week. Yeah. It's a Switch.
Okay.
Yes. I'm pretty sure it's only on Switch, right?
It's on Steam now.
Or Switch and PC. Okay, yeah. I've been playing it on Switch. So my boyfriend played it a long time ago, like when it first came out. And I kind of watched him play through parts of it, but I'm playing through it myself this time. And the stories are kind of boring in places, but the gameplay is really cool. I really like the battle mechanics. It's kind of a fresh take on turn-based RPGs, I guess. Well, it's probably not that fresh, but it takes like... Stop. Sorry, my cat's trying to eat something. Yeah, so it's got really interesting combat mechanics. the exploration's very like, Pokemon, like you're just running around and then you run into enemies. So yeah, that's what I've been playing this week, and also, which we will get into a little more detail later on, the free Stadia demo of Immortals Phoenix Rising. So that was pretty cool. We'll get into that a little bit more later. All right, now it's time for our topics of the week. The first one is pretty cool. Xbox has updated their app for iPhone and iPad that allows you to do remote play on your iDevice. This is pretty similar to PlayStation's had remote play on iPhone for a while, but it's a separate app than like the PlayStation app. So now the Xbox has everything in one fun, convenient place. And this is not the same as xCloud. xCloud is still trying to get on iDevices since they're in that war with Apple, just like everybody else. So that's a pretty interesting thing, but it does not work with Xbox 360 games that are backwards compatible on the Xbox One. And this used to be on Windows 10, but they removed it for whatever reason, probably to be replaced by xCloud.
I'm still really salty
Kyle,
about that.
As the resident fan of remote play stuff,
I am.
what are your opinions? Even though you don't have any iDevices,
I don't have any iDevices, so I can't say comparatively to this, but compared to what it is and what it compares to is I have a Windows 10 tablet. I love my Windows 10 tablet, and one of the biggest things I loved about it was always that I could stream Xbox locally. This is all local. This is way before xCloud. It's not that tech. It's literally, and sounds like it's the exact same thing where you have to have it physically on. It's off the same Wi-Fi router. So it's really the strength of your Wi-Fi is the limitation of that technology. And I'm sure it's much better than it used to be. But it was good enough for me to play simpler things. Like I could grind through Slay the Spire super easy. Those low-end games that don't have a lot of stuff. The 3D stuff kind of got a little, like Fallout 4 was super hard to play on that just because there's too much going on. But for simpler games like Slay the Spire and stuff like that, where you're just grinding through simple stuff, simple games, simpler games like that, they seem to work better for that. But they did remove that feature from Windows 10. It hasn't worked since xCloud came out, and I have xCloud on my phone, but my phone's only this big, and it's not. I like xCloud, but unless you have a tablet, the tech's not great yet. Like, it works fine. Like, it works great. It's the display's an issue. Like, I tried playing Vermintide 2 on it, and there's just no way. There's too much going on. There's too much information. Even simpler games, it's not going to work great, I don't think.
So I haven't tried the Xbox One yet, but I did use the PS5 remote play on my phone. But yeah, it's the same thing. You would never want to do it with a game where you have two thumbsticks. It's just or any combination of like too many buttons at once. I played Persona 5 on it. That was perfect because there's not really any like action and timed events, and my Wi-Fi is not great, so it was crashing a lot. But I found it because I don't have like a clip or anything, but I did Bluetooth pair one of my DualShock 4s to my phone, and tried to use it that way, but I couldn't figure out how to hold both of them. So I had my knees propped up on the couch and tried to have like the phone like resting on top of the control. It was a nightmare. But then I did it on my Vita. Like the PS4 cast on the Vita is like, if they don't have PlayStation 5 remote play on the Vita, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. Like, I don't use it a ton because
doubt they will.
It is very it is very specific, like what types of games you can do with it. But it was a godsend because at the time we only had one TV, and so if my boyfriend was trying to play something on the TV, then I would have to play something. And Persona 5, you're gonna put 110 hours into it anyway, so like I needed to like keep working on it even when he was playing other stuff, and so the Vita remote play was perfect. So I'm interested to see how this Xbox Remote Play does when PlayStation's been doing it for a while on iPhones.
It seems timely for them too, because I wonder if this is like an olive branch for them. Given the current situation where xCloud's not allowed on iPhone, right? They're not allowing that technology on there for whatever reason. They have their own whatever. It doesn't matter why it's not a thing, but the point being is this seems like an olive branch for that situation. Be like, you can't play that, but at least you can cast it. And yeah. I've done the Vita as well, and I agree. Persona 5 is what I mostly played it on, and I loved it. But it's the same reason that I love my Switch.
Yeah.
That ability to sit on the couch and play Switch and watch a movie with, watch TV with everybody and just kind of hang out together. At least you can still grind through, something and have some fun.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think, Microsoft's not going to let them get in if they can't play nice with the xCloud and follow the, Apple App Store terms, which is a lot of companies don't get along with Apple App Store terms. But if Microsoft can find a way to give people who have iPads, because it's a big chunk of people who have only iPads and they don't have Android tablets, huge chunk of people. If they can find a way to interact with their, Xbox anyway, in any manner, like you said, even through local Wi-Fi, that's better than nothing at all. So that's a good point.
Yeah, and xCloud is decent. It's not that I don't think xCloud's not good. I just don't think like Katie's saying with if you don't have the clip and stuff, and even then it's just limited to your screen size too. Like if you have a nice honking 10-inch tablet, I can see that working because I think I have I was looking at my Windows 10 tablet. My Windows 10 tablet's a 12-inch is what I used to stream to, and that works. That screen size is fine for most games. But yeah.
Sean, what do you think about this?
I'm ready for it to. I haven't tested it yet, but I was using it to test it out on my Windows PC, which was strictly just to test it because they were in the same room. But if I could stream it to my iPad, because that's what I have, that would be nice. There was a third-party software that allowed me to do that. I don't know if it still works, but I had to be close enough to my Xbox to have the controller connected to the Xbox.
Yeah, so it was probably Bluetooth-based.
It was network-based, but the controller was still connected to my Xbox.
Oh, yeah.
So I was strictly just streaming the video.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same way
That's
I did
a little
mine.
different.
But if I could be in another room in my house, that's what I want. I'm not going many places, so I don't really need to stream it from the cloud just yet, but...
Especially for people with families, where they have their Xbox in the family room and somebody else is using the TV for something else, and you want to use your Xbox,
Yeah.
It's a godsend at that point.
Yeah, the PlayStation does have an app on the iPad, and I can do that in my house. So I'm ready to do it the same thing with my Xbox.
Does anybody remember the Remote Play commercials when they came out for the Vita? No, it's just me. All I can remember is I just remember somebody sitting on a roof playing some baseball game on their Vita. It's sitting on the roof.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that scene,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's all I can remember. Just be but they had them out in the world and crap, and I was always that's not gonna work. But this was,
Yeah, I don't know. It might have worked with the, because I know the Vita, you don't have to do it via Wi-Fi. Because the Vita only does 2G Wi-Fi signals, so I don't know if that's different because actually no, this was different because my PlayStation is hardlined. It's connected through Ethernet. And then my Vita was using the Wi-Fi. So it had it was input the code for your Xbox. So I didn't know if that meant I could leave my house and go out into the world and maybe tether my Vita to my phone or something, but I know that they did have Vitas that were cellular capable. But it was only through AT&T or something. So I know that was years ago and I doubt it's supported anymore, but I don't know if that is how the Xbox thing is going to work, because my Xbox is hardline too, so I don't know how that's gonna shake out. I guess I'd have to test it, because like sometimes if my Wi-Fi starts slowing down, I'll just take my phone off of it because I have unlimited, so I'll just like use cellular data on my phone.
Well, and X Cloud different. This what they're talking about, to me, it sounds local. There's no other way I can see that working, because they're not going to invest in an Apple only streaming tech to do this. They're just not going to do that right now. That's not what Microsoft is trying to do.
Yeah. I never tested the capabilities of the Vita Connect, but that would have been cool if I was like, on a plane using plain Wi-Fi, but still connected to my PS4 at home. Like, that would be awesome. But I don't know if that's like a thing. Maybe somebody knows in the comments.
I don't know if it is in the Vita, but on my iPad, the PlayStation app does that, because my PlayStation is back in California and I'm in North Carolina, and I can open up that app and it'll turn on my PlayStation back home, and I can start playing.
And you could do.
That's pretty dope.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's.
I didn't bring a PlayStation controller with me though, so there's no point in doing it, because I can't play using the on-screen joysticks and buttons. But I've done it. Like, I booted up Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it works. Not perfectly, but it does work. I can play it from, while the PlayStation's back home.
Yeah, we'll let you borrow a controller, man.
No point now.
Yeah, I got 4 you can choose from. All right, well, this segues perfectly into our next topic about Stadia launching some free demos. I played one this week. Immortals Phoenix Rising. Ow! Sorry, my cat just nibbled on my hand. It is previously known as Gods and Monsters. It's an Ubisoft game that they announced at E3 last year.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Realization just hit Kyle's face. They renamed it because Monster Energy Drink tried to sue them for using the term monster, because apparently there is a monster game, like Monster Motocross or something. I don't know. It was ridiculous, but whatever. Ubisoft said we'd rather not fight it, and so we're just gonna say sure and just change the name to Immortals. Immortals Phoenix Rising, which is like a stupid name, but whatever. It looks a lot like Breath of the Wild.
That's what I heard.
It plays a little differently though.
That's good.
It doesn't feel like a clone. But so my computer is I'm doing a big no-no with my computer, my gaming PC. It's connected via Wi-Fi. It's not hardlined, which is like, yeah. But it's just because of where my router is and where my PC is, it just doesn't make sense for me to connect it via Ethernet. I have to have one going across my entire living room. And I could move my router, but like, it's just a lot of work. I don't like doing work. So I was surprised that there was only twice that I had some frame rate issues. Twice or maybe 3 times. Like it was only like an hour and a half. I did have some frame rate drops, but it didn't cut out, it didn't cut off, I didn't have any resolution drops, it was just frame rate, versus like the Vita remote play, for instance. I know it's like technically different, but I had harder time with the Vita remote play than I did with Stadia.
And this was free,
as far
right?
As like,
you didn't have to sign up for Stadia
absolutely
to do
free.
This.
Right. Well, I had to sign up, but Stadia is free unless you do Stadia Pro. But that's the confusing thing, is you open up Stadia.com or whatever it is, and it doesn't look free. It doesn't look free at all. The website is not user friendly. It looks like, here's your pro membership, which is $9.99 a month, and here's all the things you get with it, and here's all the games that are included with that. But it doesn't tell you that, like, you don't have to have the membership to get those games. You can pay for them yourself. And then Stadia is just like a console where you just buy games on their storefront or whatever, and it just streams them instead of, like, playing off of your machine. So, I was impressed. And I didn't think I'd be saying that, because I think Stadia is a stupid idea. Who would pay monthly to play games for the same price that you would pay for them on Steam or your Xbox or your PlayStation. Like,
let's say I can now. This is me playing devil's advocate in for Stadia, because I don't have Stadia. I concur. I don't think it's great. It's not for me. But I don't think it's made for any of us. We're not the target audience for Stadia. The target audience for Stadia is people who occasionally play a game, like more casual gamers, but it's a lower entry fee. Where if I can get Stadia, get a Stadia controller, and like sign up for the package or whatever. I think when it was like at launch, it was like $100 or whatever for like 6 months, and the controller, whatever the bundle was, right? That's a lot cheaper than paying $300 for a Switch and some games. That's a lot cheaper than paying $1,000 for a good gaming PC, or a mediocre gaming PC that at least gets you entry into that. It's a lot cheaper than buying a system and consoles and games. So let's say you're in a situation where you can't really afford much, and you want to play games, but you can't. I see the benefit of Stadia, but my question has always been the tech side of it. It's just like with xCloud, because it's a streaming service, there's that potential for latency and lag, and like I would always get mad about, as we previously discussed, with just streaming your Xbox to your tablet. I got lag on that, and if it's like if I cannot get lag in my living room when I'm like 10 feet away, how in God's name is Stadia going to ping this, me press a button, go all the way to their servers and back? But I know that there's some algorithms or whatever that are in place for that, which always kind of... Because I remember... Did anybody watch the Stadia presentation at, like, I think it was E3 several years ago?
No. Probably. Maybe, actually. I don't know. I watched a lot of stuff in the past couple years. If I did, it wasn't memorable.
Yeah, the only thing I remember about it was, specifically in this reference, is they were playing, what's the Assassin's Creed that's Greek mythology?
Odyssey? That one. They were talking about that game, and specifically when they talked about it, it was, they showed Greek Odyssey, they showed that game, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and they were showing it, and they said, let's say you're at this part where it's really hard. Well, with Stadia, it'll say, are you having trouble here? And it'll click a thing and take you to like a video, and it had all this like, things that were kind of like, yeah, this is great, but I
got my
do that
phone
too.
right here.
Like that was my thought. I was like, yeah, but I could just look it up on YouTube and find it too. So
I think we solved this
funny.
problem about 10 years ago, Stadia.
Yeah.
Well, PlayStation is adding the same thing to the PlayStation 5 UI, is like where you get stuck and it'll like tell you what to do without you having to pull up YouTube. It's like,
and I mean, Cyberpunk's coming for it. That's what's still crazy, is they're gonna put Cyberpunk on Stadia.
day one too. Like,
It's not for me. It's not. I don't feel like it's it for any of us. I can see a value in it, and I'm glad that it seems like they're trying. But we discussed this previously, but I think it's going to go to the Google graveyard with many other things that just Google can't seem to keep. Google brings and just buries in the graveyard. I think this thing's going to be dead in a year, but I could be wrong.
yeah. And another thing about this demo that I did is that if I hadn't known about it, I don't know if I would have been able to find it. Like I said, you go to Stadia's front page and it looks like you have to pay for it. It doesn't say anything about like, it says like free trial, like try a month for free, but it doesn't say like you don't actually need the pro. Like it's so weird. And I was like, man, I really thought this stuff was free. Am I really about to have a free month-long trial of Stadia Pro just so I can play this freaking demo? But then I finally like found where I wanted to go, and I went to like the list of games or whatever, and I was like, where's the demo that I'm supposed to be playing? Like, wasn't coming up. Like, and there's not, I don't know if there is a search feature, it's trash. Search feature, it's trash. So what I ended up doing is going to regular google.com and typing in Immortals Phoenix Rising Stadia demo, and then it came up.
I mean, you can play Stadia on a Chromecast. I was just looking. I'm looking at their webpage now, and you're not kidding. This thing is like, information is buried on here. It's not. It's clearly laid out to make you think you have to sign up for it, because they need subs. But
yes,
I can see who it's for, I guess. But then again, not really. Like, maybe this is something
I
a
don't know.
grandma would give a kid for Christmas and be like, I got you 6 months of Stadia. And they're like, thanks, Grandma. I'll probably never use this. I don't know.
Yeah, I got you 6 months of Stadia for $60 when I could have gotten you a $60 game for your Xbox that you already have. Instead, I bought you $60 worth of Stadia, and then you have to go and buy a game at full price.
That's,
No.
Yeah, that's the other kicker about that is it's
And the
not,
other
it's
thing
not that the
is-
games are all just free.
Yeah, and I could see, like, okay, so I'm sure you guys have heard that Amazon is coming out with their streaming service called Luna. It's 100% subscription based, but the games are included in that subscription price.
Yeah.
Makes more
That's the
sense.
model to go for. That makes 100%
Game
more
Pass.
sense because but it's streamed, so it's xCloud, but it's
Okay,
Amazon
yeah, it's
trying to
xCloud,
get
but-
their piece of the pie.
But and that's
Jeff Bezos says, I heard about this up and coming thing called game streaming, and I want a piece of it, just like everything else. But yeah, but like for someone who travels a lot, I can see Stadia being kind of cool too, because then you don't have to like bring your whole system with you. But at the same time, Sean was just saying that he can access his Xbox in California from North Carolina for the PlayStation 5 remote play or PlayStation 4 remote play. So like if this new Xbox remote play for iPhone is the same way, then that like takes a whole part of the niche market that Stadia was, maybe planning on capitalizing from, and just takes it away. Like, I don't travel a lot for work. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I know about Mike and
really?
Kyle, but I don't know about Sean.
Do know
Like-
about us, guys.
As a matter of fact, I've traveled just about as much as anybody at my job,
It's-
but
but when I do, I take my Switch. I mean,
yeah.
I take my Switch.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, the Switch Lite, the screen on the Switch Lite is smaller than the screen on my phone. It just has controllers connected to it. Like, there's no market for me. There's no reason why I would want to spend money to get the upgrade on Stadia. There's no reason I would want to buy a game on Stadia. Well, first of all, I'm a big proponent of physical editions.
We know.
Because, I mean, look at it. What's on Stadia right now? PUBG? How long's that game been out? I don't even know. Okay, that might even be a good example because I don't even know if it has a physical release. But, I don't know. So,
does.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I've never opened it. It's still wrapped. But I've had it for like a year. But I bought it for $20. Guess how much you have to pay for it on Stadia? $60. Because I bought it used or on sale because physical games just depreciate faster until they stop depreciating and start appreciating. So,
Yeah.
it's just so much cheaper. The money that you're saving by not having a console and having free Stadia, you could be saving on physical media.
Until they
On
quit
sale.
making physical media.
Yeah.
I'm in this. I guess this kind of
And then it's gonna be just like the music industry. Everything's gonna go back to vinyl. Everything's gonna go back to cartridge games. That's gonna be the hip thing.
The hipsters. Oh, you're playing online? I'm playing on this cartridge. I got it. The cartridge store. Like, yeah.
Cartridge.
Does the Switch's baby SD cards count as that, Mike? Those are kind of carts. I mean, it's as close as a cart we've had in a while, but like have you seen the physical Switch ones? They look like they're just little SD cards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot Mike doesn't have a Switch.
Yeah.
I got a Switch game right here, but I guess I can open it and show you.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. But looking at like PS5, I'm probably getting the digital one when I do. I haven't bought a physical game, like, unless it's something that's like crazy on sale. And Switch is the only one I will buy physical for because I share my account with my kids and they have the main account and mine has to be on Wi-Fi to work. So if I want to play something when I go to travel, I have to have a physical game. So like I bought Dragon Quest 11. Yeah. See?
Straight up.
It's carts. It's an SD card. But anyway.
Yeah.
mini floppy.
The only thing is that these are expensive to make, the SD cards. Or it's not an SD card. I still have a cartridge. I don't know. It's the size of an SD card.
It's
but
an SD card. I mean,
thicker.
it's...
No, I mean, here. Actually, this
I
is
know.
really
I know
convenient
they're not quite the
that
same, but
I
it's the best
literally-
comparable thing.
It's
I
similar. They
literally
just
have
taste
SD
worse.
cards also sitting.
They just taste worse.
my
I
desk.
forgot. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. How bad does that
Yeah,
taste,
they're like the
Katie?
same size. So, what? I'm prepared. On accident.
How bad does it taste? Sean reminded me. I forgot that was a thing.
Oh. Oh, it actually tastes really bad.
Yeah.
That tastes worse than I was expecting it to taste.
Did you not know that?
Why do they taste bad?
Sean,
So
you
that kids
you do
won't
it.
put them in their mouth.
Because they're lined with poison.
Specifically did that on purpose.
Yeah, they're made to taste bad.
What the heck?
Yeah. That was a big thing when the Switch launched. I was like, that's such a weird, but I get it. It's good, I guess.
I didn't even lick the metal part. I looked like the plastic. It
Yeah,
tastes like
no.
shit.
Oh, yeah. It's supposed to.
It tastes like rubbing alcohol. Oh man.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
that's
Stadia's
wonderful.
got some other free demos going on, but they're only they're time demos for a week. But I guess if you guys wanted to try out a Stadia demo, you could go do that, and then you could have a experience similar to mine, where it works pretty good, even on Wi-Fi. But at the same time, I'm not the target audience. Regardless of how good my experience with Stadia was, I
You're
didn't
not
feel
gonna
any
get pro.
lag. Yeah. I didn't feel the lag. I didn't, yeah. Stadia was good. Stadia functioned how it is intended to function. I'm still not paying for it or buying any games there. And at the end of the demo, it's like, do you want to buy pre-order Immortals Phoenix Rising? I was like, bitch, I already pre-ordered it for the PS5.
They do
but
that.
yeah, it was a good
They do that in
game.
almost every demo I've played in a long time, too. I
Yeah.
mean, most demos do
Yeah.
that. Betas and crap
Yeah.
like that do that, too. They're like, hey,
Yeah.
you've had so much fun. Don't you want to pre-order? No.
Yeah, it was fun. The game was pretty good. It's a little similar to Breath of the Wild as far as mechanics go, but it was unique enough where I didn't feel like I was just playing Breath of the Wild. I feel like it was trying too hard to be funny. It was like Zeus and Prometheus talking to each other, trying to narrate the story, and Prometheus is trying to narrate it the right way, and Zeus is trying to narrate it the wrong way, and it's this whole thing, and it's this isn't landing with me. I think the humor is maybe geared towards a younger audience. And there's this thing that Phoenix does whenever she gets a chest. She taps on it and then flips it open, and I'm like, this is so annoying. Every time you're at a chest, I mean, you don't get chests that often, but still, it's just open the chest like a normal person. But it's that's from Breath of the Wild too. Link's over here. If you try to open a chest from behind and he kicks it and he's not wearing the right boots, he stubs his toe and then grabs his foot. You know what I'm talking about, Kyle? Anybody? Nobody?
I haven't played Breath of the Wild since Wii U days.
Oh.
Which
I played it quasi recently, but
I love Wii U. I will defend that system to the day I die. I think the Wii U
we still have ours plugged in.
It's great.
A lot of people are I don't want to plug my Wii U
Great
back in. We still have
system.
ours plugged in.
Such
That's
a
how you
good
play
system.
Wii games. So that's that for Stadia. Next up, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered, updated to add private sessions and free skates.
I'm so
About
excited.
time
Yes.
is all I'm saying. We have tried. We didn't know why they didn't release this during launch. Me and Kyle got it first day it came out, and we got it online immediately, and we're just like, what? We can't play a private session and just free skate at least, or just play between the two of us, and
Online.
it was so aggravating. Online, yeah.
Online, I think that's key because the
had
local
right?
was the local existed from day one. That you could play split screen local, free skate, play all the things. You could do that from day one, but the online multiplayer aspect of it was not set up until.
And so what the article tells us is that that you can do it if it's a private party match setup, but it won't create a match for you if you don't have any friends online. You're SOL, because it's not just going to find somebody who's just chilling in a free skate online message by themselves.
Yeah.
Just to get one person in there with you. Because, I mean, I guess that's why they have their multiplayer matchup like they have. But me and Kyle tried it out a few nights ago, and it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
It is exactly like, I don't know why they didn't have this out day one.
Well, and like you said, the only thing you can't do is you can't start a private match and then make it public. And with the way anybody who hasn't played Tony Hawk, like if you're an old school Tony Hawk fan, you haven't played the new updated remake, how it works, if like Mike and Sean and Katie and I can all jump into a group, we're all in a group inside the game. We can go and play random games that we have no say in with random strangers online, which is fun. You can do that, but it's just it just goes through this random cycle where it's like, okay, I've picked a map randomly, and we're going to play Trick Attack now. Everybody plays Trick Attack, and then once that's over, it's going to go, okay, we're done. But it's frustrating, too, because when the time limit's up sometimes, it keeps... Like, if someone's doing a really long trick, it seems like it times out at a point where it just goes, you're done. And it's moved on, and you don't get to see the results. And
no, it doesn't time you out or move on. But if you're still going, and you go to the end, and the trick drops out, that leaderboard screen just goes so fast. You're just like, what place did I come in? I didn't even see it because it just I wasn't concentrating on looking at a screen. I was concentrating on not falling off my board. So. It does have some flaws, but they are making up for it really good with this latest update they did, allowing private multiplayer matches, because this should have been, release day one, in my opinion.
I agree. And Sean, I know you haven't played it yet, but I know I know this was something that we all wanted from you. Voiced your opinion on that as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, it just makes sense.
Why didn't they have it before?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's only one thing it doesn't have that I want. It's one complaint. Is
Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm still salty about that. Where's my Spider-Man? Where's my black suit Spider-Man? Thanks, Sony.
Yeah, those licenses are getting expensive.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of costumes on that too, wasn't there, by Mike and Sean?
You just create your own character now and make it look like Tom Holland, and Bob's your uncle.
Well, before we get off that though, I will just say that the Tony Hawk games have some of the best soundtracks of any video game ever, and that is just still so on point in the new one. That's all I wanted to say. It has all the classic tracks. And new ones. It's great. It makes me happy. Except that terrible Less Than Jake song, but we won't talk about that.
The classic
Did you know
tracks
you can edit the playlist, right, to remove songs that you don't like?
It's the only one I haven't. It's the only one that I have removed from my playlist.
Oh, okay. Cool. I don't know which one you're talking about, but there was a song that came on there. I was like, hey, I know this song. It was Guerrilla Radio.
Oh,
yes. Rage Against the Machine. Classic.
I knew that one.
From 1991, right? No, that was a later album. That was Battle of Los Angeles album. That was later in the 90s.
Escape from Los Angeles?
Battle of Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. Different thing.
Is their third album, I believe. Sean's my resident of Rage Against the Machine expert.
I'm not expert, but I think you're right.
Yes.
It's a later album. I know that much.
Oh, anyways. Okay, Ubisoft is taking cross-play and cross-progression into their own hands with Ubisoft Connect. I don't know if you guys read the details here. I'm excited about this, especially since it means that the time I spent in Immortals Phoenix Rising, for playing the demo on Stadia, you get like a cool set of gear or whatever. That means that I don't have to continue to play the game on Stadia in order to get the gear that I earned by completing the demo.
Oh.
Cross progression. It's because you had to log in with your Ubisoft account, and that means whenever I pop the game in on my PS5 on December 3rd, then I just get my free suit of armor and I don't have to get the Stadia version. And I really think that Stadia didn't think that through because they just fucked themselves with that. But the thing is that they might not have known because Ubisoft Connect didn't get announced until late this past week. But yeah, so I'm really excited about this. I don't play a ton of Ubisoft games, but like, it's nice. Like, cross progression's always nice. There's so many games that, especially Game Pass games, where I'll start it on my Xbox, and then I'm sitting on my PC, I'm like, oh, this game's really fun. I'm gonna download it on my PC too, but then it's like, I'm not gonna play it again. Like, I want cross progression to be like a thing in this next generation. And, you know...
Yeah, hopefully Ubisoft can get this right, because I have little faith in Ubisoft programmers to go cross-platform, just from past experience playing on Ubisoft games. They're really buggy a lot of times, especially when they try to work with different consoles on different things. I mean, they quit doing multiplayer on Assassin's Creed. I mean, they made great games, but the only complaints there was
waiting for it
was you had to deal with Ubisoft's interface, like between your console and the game itself, like trying to matchmake was hell. Like, it was terrible.
So the Uplay or whatever, remember? Because I couldn't even get the multiplayer of Black Flag to work because I bought a used copy of the game and it wouldn't let me play multiplayer because I didn't have the Uplay passport. It was so stupid.
Even though you bought the game. Even though you bought the hard copy.
Yeah, even though I bought the game. I bought the hard copy. It's like the one time that I bought a hard copy and it came back to hit me in the face. Or whatever the phrase is.
So, I mean, but hopefully they'll get it right. Hopefully, in the past 7 years since that's happened, like, they got a little bit better at it, but it's a great idea, and if they can stick with it, I think I agree with you. It's a great thing. It should be a thing, for all consoles on all games. You should be able to just carry on, even if you switch platforms.
So then you're also going to get point-based rewards for playing multiple Ubisoft games. I will say, Square Enix, I think, does something similar, where you have to log in with your Square Enix account, and it's kind of stupid, but...
Ubisoft's done that before, though. That's been part of Uplay. Because I was...
Yeah.
I remember that, because I've played several of the Far Cry's, for example, right? And you would get... Right. They would be like, hey, you played Far Cry 3, so in Far Cry 4, here's something, or Division. Division's a Ubisoft game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I feel like in Division 2, it'd be like, log into... I see you played the Division as well as played the Division 2, so here's... I think, God, I paid like $3 for that or whatever. It was on sale one time, but it's...
Yeah, I did too.
But that being said, like you said, like, I would play it on my PC if I could keep the progression, but I don't want to start... You don't want to start a new character, especially with something like that where you're leveling up, and like you don't want to have to start from the beginning.
Yeah, I will say, especially with single player games. So they're doing it for like Rainbow Six Siege, which I am not going to play because I don't really play multiplayer like that. Yeah. But Rainbow Six Siege is on Game Pass now, so that means that you can play Rainbow Six Siege on your Xbox and whatever. I'm assuming that there is some sort of progression in that game. I'm not sure. Whatever progression you make on Xbox, you can now take over to your computer with you. Like, and they're just giving it to you. It's just Ubisoft is giving it to you. This is not Xbox cross progression. This is Ubisoft, and I'm super excited about it. Especially since Ubisoft has a pretty strong lineup for the rest of the year, because you got Watch Dogs Legions, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Immortals Phoenix Rising coming out, a month apart from each other. And their universal interface is will be available on all platforms and work with all Ubisoft games, starting with Watch Dogs Legions. So sorry, go ahead. You get like rewards and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the rewards are going to be. Like, probably just cosmetics, which is fine. I don't really care that much about cosmetics, but people do, clearly, because they pay money for them in games. But cross progression is what I am the most excited about because, like I said, I don't play a lot of multiplayer games. Cross play doesn't really mean that much to me, but cross progression is huge. I can't wait for that.
Cross play, that was going to be my question. Is this means cross play as well, right? Because that's big. If that means that, you know, Mike can be playing, we'll just use Watch Dogs Legion as a multiplayer game, right? Because Valhalla is not going to have multiplayer because for some reason they don't want me to buy Assassin's Creed games anymore. That's salt. That's salt. Anyway,
Not going to talk about it. Sore subject.
But what I'm saying, okay, so like if Watch Dogs Legions, if it's true crossplay, that means I could be playing on my PC, Katie could be playing on her Xbox Series X, Mike could be playing on his PS5, Sean could be playing on Stadia.
No, he won't.
I don't think it's. I know. I'm just. This is. That's the most unbelievable part of this entire situation is that. But Sean's playing remotely on his PlayStation 5 from another state. But we're all playing together via crossplay via their system.
Yeah, I think this helps out consoles too because, like I asked you guys a couple days ago, are you going to get Watch Dogs Legions? Because I just found out that there is a multiplayer component to it. I think it's going to be more like GTA Online, but there is a multiplayer component to it. And I already pre-ordered it for PS5 because that's where I want to play most of my next-gen games. But if it has multiplayer, I'm going to play it on Xbox because I have Xbox Live. I don't have PlayStation Plus. I'm not playing anything online on my PlayStation. That's just because my friends all have Xboxes. But and also it's included with Game Pass. But I asked you guys. I was like, "Are you guys getting this game? Because if not, I need to cancel my pre-order and turn it into an Xbox pre-order." But now I don't have to do that because I can just play it on my PS5 and still play with you guys if you're playing on the Xbox. Oh. And that's like, I mean, obviously, you can't use the party system that way, but you could use Discord just like we're doing now. Like.
Maybe not.
It's
though.
Awesome.
Maybe they're gonna have a chat inside their I mean, if they're aiming at this, that kind of stuff seems like a no. And obviously, this is me just looking at this, like looking through their thing and not really knowing. Because Uplay was always just kind of like a do this dumb random thing, and we'll give you like 300 extra coins in the game or whatever. Like it was never anything great. Can you think of anything you got from Uplay, Sean?
No, there wasn't anything. No, it was all cosmetic, and
yeah,
you could get like backgrounds for your Xbox. I think images, wallpapers, weird stuff.
So, yeah. Oh, but yeah. See,
and
I
Switch
say that, Katie?
too. I don't. What?
Looking at this picture on their website, on that article, looking at one of the pictures from here, it looks like a bunch of friends inside a thing.
Oh.
It does have a friends list, so it makes me wonder if that is something they're going to do.
Oh, that does look like what that is. I see the friends list, but I don't know if there's going to be, like, parties. I mean, this is interesting because, PlayStation just changed up their party system, and people are not happy with it. Because they changed it from, like, you could start a private party. You know how, like, on Xbox, like, hypothetically, you could start a party with just yourself.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
And that stops you from hearing, like, other people playing. Like, if you're in GTA Online, people are talking into their mics or whatever. Mm-hmm. PlayStation just removed that feature. And also added some stuff where it's, like, you can't just join other people's parties. Like if I get online on my Xbox and I see that Kyle and Mike are playing, I can just join into their party. I don't need to like ask permission or anything. I'm just like, what's up, guys? Hope you weren't talking shit about me. But
usually
PlayStation PlayStation just changed it so that you can't do that anymore. You have to have a party set up for those 3 people, and then you all have to join. Well, I guess you don't all have to join it, but you all have to use that party. You can't already be in an established party with 2 people and have a third person join. You have to create a third party. So it's going to be more like Discord, where like these you have established number of people in here. So, but PlayStation got a lot of flack for that, so I think they're probably going to change that up. But if that sucks that bad and you're trying to play an Ubisoft game, guess what? You just use Ubisoft server because it probably doesn't suck that bad. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm excited about this.
They'll probably end up breaking your heart. They're going to give you something that you're going to love, and then they're going to take it away. That's what they do.
I'm so glad we don't have any slugs right now, Mike, because you would just be killing them with your touch.
Just telling.
All that salt.
I will say that Black Flag multiplayer is a lot of fun, and that's coming from someone who, categorically avoids multiplayers because I suck at video games and life in general. All right.
Can confirm. Not that you suck in general. Can confirm that the deathmatch. Can confirm that Assassin's Creed Deathmatch is that freaking good because I hate PvP games, but I will play Assassin's Creed Deathmatch.
It's great. All right. This is a big one. I cannot wait to talk about this. I'm going to read, or attempt to read. I'm not very good at reading this article. And, oh boy. All right. This comes from T3.com. The author's name is Robert Jones, aka the world's dumbest human. Atari just crashed the PS5 party with a brand new console. I will continue to read. The PS5 launches now in a mere matter of weeks, with the next-gen gaming console hitting shelves November 2020. However, there is another games console launching in November this year too. You might think maybe it's the Xbox Series X, which is not mentioned in this article at all. Wrong. And this one comes with access to more than 100 games included. That new console is the Atari VCS, a version of the classic Atari VCS, and it is launching in November alongside the PlayStation 5. It goes on to say some very misleading information. That the Atari VCS is 2020 ready, including an AMD Ryzen CPU, doesn't say which one, an AMD Radeon GPU, doesn't say which one, and 8 gigabytes of RAMs. Expandable to 8 gigs is nothing. You really need 16 to do anything this day and age. I guess, except for play Atari games. That can pump up your games out in 4K HDR. Atari VCS also comes with USB 3.0 HDMI Ethernet port for wired connections, as well as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity. A modern Atari controller that looks just like an Xbox controller, but also the Atari Classic joysticks. It offers a dedicated PC mode, which means you can install a secondary operating systems like Windows and on a bootable external USB, and then you use the VCS as a home computer too. It operates on Linux right now. Comes pre-installed with a ton of classic Atari retro games, as well as current titles from a range of studios. That's all the information I could find. As well as a custom storefront that allows users to download additional games and applications, including video streaming apps, music players, web browsers. And here's the kicker. It retails for $389.99.
Wow, okay, yeah. So this is like the Talk to Me Like I'm 5 article, but it sounds to me like, first of all, it doesn't say what size, Ryzen cards in there or, processor, but
in
honestly,
their specs. Mind you, even in their specs, it doesn't mention that, Mike.
But, I mean, honestly,
yeah.
If it's playing any, classic Atari games, it doesn't matter which one it is because it's going to, run them fine. And you don't need more than 8 gigs of RAM to run all the Atari games that are classics at the same time.
At the same time, yep.
But yeah, to have it at that price point just sounds a little ridiculous, and to have it as where you can, I get it on a Linux drive, so it seems like you can, and you said you could partition maybe like,
Yeah,
like
it has a
windowing
PC
environment.
Yeah,
PC,
it has a PC
environment.
mode, but you have to have your Windows operating system on a USB like thumb drive, and
Oh,
then
okay.
plug that, and then put it in PC mode, and then you can use Windows.
So that sounds like a way you'd want, they could get people to sideload a lot of things into their console, maybe, which wouldn't make sense if they're trying to sell stuff. But yeah, that price point just doesn't make sense to me for what you just said. That seems like something that would be a solid, like, $149.99 would be max, I would think, for the specs you just gave and utilization, it gives, especially for classic games, So I guess it all depends on what their newer titles from newer studios are that are going to be available.
Yes. New titles from various studios, current titles from a range of studios, and you cannot find that information anywhere. Their website just says various games from different, it says the same exact thing. And it's like, are they referring to the fact that you can put it in PC mode and then play any PC games? Like, nobody knows. And the fact that they're just Ryzen processor and Radeon graphics doesn't mean anything if they're not telling you which Ryzen processor and which Radeon graphics. I have a Ryzen processor and Radeon graphics card, and I could not get close to 4K HDR out of my PC. And and I think Atari has missed their window of opportunity on this one, and I'll tell you why. And you guys can probably provide some pretty good insight on this too, because of your ages and family status.
We were alive before Atari came out.
No, you weren't.
No, we weren't.
Speak for yourself.
And that's my point. That's
I
my
had
point.
an Atari. Does that count?
Yes.
You have like older siblings, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So it wasn't your Atari. It was your
No,
older
it wasn't my
siblings'
Atari.
Atari.
It was an uncle's. Also the ColecoVision, but still.
Yeah. So would you say that you have nostalgia for the Atari? Any of you guys?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Not
yeah,
$380 worth.
No, not that much.
Not that much. Not that much.
I have,
and I'll tell you why.
I have the nostalgia to break out my Atari with the Atari games I currently own and play them. That's about as much nostalgia as I got. I wouldn't go out and buy a new system and
especially not that price point.
In the classics, yeah. Especially,
and I'll tell you why.
When you could emulate probably whatever they have on there anyway,
right,
just as good
for free.
For free.
Here is I'm willing to die on this hill right here. People don't make nostalgia-driven purchases of that at that price point past their 20s.
No, I mean you think of the Nintendo they remade, that came out a few years ago with the
NES
hard
Classic.
drive in it. Yeah, the NES Classic. What was that price point? It wasn't anywhere close.
It was not that much. No,
it's like 70.
It was not that.
Yeah, it was. I think it was under 100. Yeah,
it's under 100. All of them have been.
That's what you need. That's a solid slam dunk for any console that's ever existed.
I literally have a plug-and-play Atari thing that run. I literally have something in the other room that it runs on batteries. You plug it into your AV because back when there was 3, 2 for audio, 1 for video. Plug that into the TV and start it up, and I can play Dig Dug. You can play Galaxia or whatever else is on there, but that $20 purchase is fine. The $50 purchase to get a PlayStation Classic or a NES Classic or less than $100, sure. But we are all missing the very important piece that you did not mention, Katie, is there is wood grain on that thing, and it is pretty. There's wood grain on there.
But is it real wood?
So
yes,
back to my point.
It says materials, plastic, metal, wood.
I bet you it's particle board.
It says wood. But it
Yeah,
does
well,
also
Made out of
Wood is
recycled
technically
plastic
wood.
pieces.
it does also mention in the specs, which I think is interesting, that RAM is upgradable. This is me playing devil's advocate. Just the RAM is upgradable, which is fine, sure. None of this is making me want to buy this, but and it's not just a USB stick. You can use a USB hard drive, external hard drive, per the specs. But the specs still don't mention what Ryzen. It just says Ryzen for GPU. And APU says AMD Raven Ridge 2. But like, there's no, and there are 2 versions of this.
It says Ryzen for the GPU?
It says GPU says Ryzen. If you
Ryzen is
go
not
in-
a GPU.
I'm telling you
Ryzen
what I'm
is-
reading off their thing. And there are
Off
2
of
different
Atari's
models, one
website?
with 4 gigabytes and one with 800. That's the 800 versus the 400. So which model is it that's 400? Let's pre-order. I'm just
don't
curious.
know.
That's okay.
Where
That
are
is
these-
the 8 gigabyte
where is
one.
this
Look at that
information?
wood grain. Oh, that wood grain.
My point is that this website sucks. And also, why won't it?
Was this kickstarted?
Oh, yeah, it was an Indiegogo.
Okay. That explains a lot.
Yeah, well, there we go.
Powered by the new
That's what's happening.
Okay,
Yeah, right?
specifications. This doesn't make any sense.
We should have
GPU
started the article with that.
What the? Okay, so this just is straight up contradictory. In the description, it says, built to entertain, powered by the new AMD Ryzen multi-threaded Zen processor with Radeon Vega 3 graphics. And then in the specification, it says APU, AMD Raven Ridge 2, GPU, AMD Ryzen.
They just gave somebody a bunch of buzzwords, told them to make a web page. It seems like.
Runs on
But
Bitcoin.
but the thing is
Now-
that it makes the description makes more sense than the specifications do. I'm not familiar with APUs. Raven Ridge 2 could very well be an APU, but Ryzen is not a GPU. Ryzen is the CPU. And you wouldn't have a CPU and an APU in the same system.
The Atari VCS apparently does. And it's got wood grain.
This is
one
this
of
is
them
so
has wood grain.
stupid.
This is
but it
very
does have
important.
an
The
internal-
wood grain's optional. That's just one of the beautiful consoles you get has wood
Well,
grain.
did you
which-
see? Did you see that there's 3 wood grain styles? There's one
not.
that you get
There's-
from the Atari
There's only one wood
website.
grain
There's
style.
one. There's one that you get from the GameStop website, and there's one you get from the Walmart website. So you're looking
Is-
at black walnut. That's the Atari website color. You have to, if you want the other 2 colors, you have to order it from either Walmart or GameStop.
If you had wood grain as an option, why would you? If you are the person who is like, ooh, the Atari VCS speaks to me, and you're not getting the wood grain, I want to meet you because I genuinely don't know who would want this that isn't an Atari fan that would just want it for the nostalgia wood grain. Like, that's the only thing I can think of.
But here was my point about nostalgic purchases. When you start working as an adult, whether you went to college first or not, you get an adult job and you start, losing the benefits of being a child. That's when your nostalgia first starts kicking in, like early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, whenever it is. By the time that you're in your late 30s or 40s, you can't spend $400 on nostalgia because you probably have a family at that point.
Depends on how much you love your family. No, I'm kidding. This is just,
Well, I mean, if you have
depends on how much you want to piss off your significant other.
yeah, like that's another thing is that
Yeah.
by that time, even if you don't have kids, you are probably married or in a serious relationship where you try to make financial decisions together. And unless you like have a lot of money, like that's a big financial decision to like just for nostalgic purchases. Like I'm in my 20s, I just bought over $100 worth of Pokemon cards just because I wanted the nostalgia of opening them again, and it was awesome, and it paid off because I got a good one. But like, if I was in my 30s, I wouldn't be doing stupid shit like that. If I was in my 40s, I definitely wouldn't be doing stupid shit like that. And I feel like the market, like you see this a lot with collecting. Like a couple years ago, when people that were nostalgic for the NES. When they first started getting disposable income, that's when NES cartridges the prices of them started skyrocketing because they're like, I now have disposable income. I want to collect NES cartridges for nostalgic reasons. And then a couple years later, it was the Super Nintendo kids that started getting disposable income and wanted to collect. And then, right now it's at the GameCubes. GameCube games are really hard to find, or their prices are really high right now because people my age who grew up with the GameCube are getting disposable incomes. People that are nostalgic for the Atari have had disposable incomes for 10, 15 years. They're done with their impulse buying of nostalgia.
I
They're
can
done
see
with
that.
It. That's over.
But you got to remember,
Like-
you have to remember with media, right? With the media of CDs especially, like, you do know there's a degradation issue there, right? And, like,
Yes.
also it's a frailty thing where, like, some PlayStation games are super hard to find just because they just don't exist. Like, and it's always an artificial. It's all based on whatever people buying and selling and crap like that too. But I'm saying, like, there's a real rarity with some of that stuff, especially GameCube games, because GameCube was a kid's system for all purposes, right? Where a lot of these games, like, what was the survival horror game that was for that? That's super rare. I can't think of it. But
I'll give you an example. Fire Emblem Path of Radiance for the GameCube.
that in
Didn't sell very
America?
well. Because I have a copy.
I didn't realize. I thought that was a port or
no.
translation or something like that. I didn't realize that was actually.
No, it's
released.
American. It's got voice acting and everything. So Fire Emblem was not very popular in the United States until Fire Emblem Awakening on the 3DS, I want to say, because it introduced the casual mode. Because before that, one character dies and that person's dead forever in the game. That's classic mode. Casual mode, they die, they come back after the battle. So it wasn't very popular with Americans because I guess at the time we didn't really like hard games. I don't know. But so that game didn't sell very well. So it is like an actual rarity of that item. It's like $150 for just the disc.
Yeah.
The GameCube disc. I got a complete. Well, it's not complete. I have a boxed copy. I don't have the manual because I don't really care. I bought it for less than that because I bought it like 6 months to a year ago. Like, these GameCube games are skyrocketing. So if you guys still have your old GameCube games and you get a short on cash.
There's a few I need, like Super Mario Strikers and I think I have Sean's copy of Thousand Year Door right now.
Yeah, but it just... Yeah, Thousand Year Door's like doubled in the past like year because there's all this hype around Paper Mario coming out, even though the Switch version sucked.
Yeah, I didn't finish it. But have you ever played Thousand Year Door, Katie?
I watched Pat play it.
Yeah, that
I haven't
game's
played it myself.
oh, so good. It's like the most
Yeah,
perfect Mario RPG ever made.
Better than Mario RPG.
Yeah. No, Thousand Year Door is the quintessential Mario RPG. I love the SNES version. I love SNES Mario RPG. That's a cool game and everything. It has some really cool stuff. I love that it's a Square Enix Mario game because that's really cool. Or Square, because Enix and them hadn't teamed up yet. But yeah, no, Thousand Year Door is leaps and bounds above any other Paper Mario game. That's a hill I'll die on.
I think that there's a lot of people that would agree with you on that. I don't think
That's
that...
not. That's it. Wouldn't be a hill I'd have to die on. I think other people would come defend me.
Yeah. Speaking of the prices of games for the next generation are going up to $70. Namely Call of Duty. I don't think that a lot. Actually, I have a big question. So with smart delivery, well, I guess it's just the PlayStation version that's $70 as of right now, right? Or is the Xbox Series X version $70 too? I should know this. But my point is that couldn't you just buy the $60 PS4 version and then have it do the thing on the PS5 version?
Not
Or
every
is,
game is smart delivery.
right.
There is a very specific list for smart delivery.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. So Activision's just not joining that bandwagon. They're not
No.
accepting the buttload of cash from Xbox to do that to their games.
No, of course they wouldn't.
They're just going to continue to not be consumer friendly because people are going to buy their yearly Call of Duties anyways.
They could make Call of Duty We Murder a Bunch of Puppies, and it would still sell 1 million copies a year. Like, I genuinely think that the Call of Duty franchise it's because they do that. Is it still annual? Yeah, so like because of the way
they have like 2 different studios that slip back and forth or something.
That's how they can do it. That makes sense. So yeah, but like I don't specifically for Call of Duty, it doesn't matter. Those games are going to sell. You can charge $70. The person who buys the annual Call of Duty game, I don't. I'm just not a first person shooter guy. That's not my style of games. Yeah, I don't think that's going to matter. I don't like it. I don't like a price hike. I hate it. Mike had pointed this out earlier. It's like, I would totally be cooler with it. It was like, now it's $60, $62 now. It's $63. But this is just for AAA titles too. We have to remember. I mean, you're not going to pick up, your single A and double A games and your indie developers. They're not going to be charging $70 for a game. In fact, the Tony Hawk remake was only $40, wasn't it?
Squadrons was only $40.
And Tony Hawk was an Activision game that we were just...
Oh.
All right. I talk shit, but okay, they did. All right. I'll still talk shit.
My bad.
Call of Duty's trash. Sorry.
Here's my thing about Call of Duty being $70. It'll be $60 in like a week. Oh, but that's only if you buy the physical edition. It'll be like $50 if you wait like a month. It'll be $40 like 6 weeks later. It's like these games like Call of Duty, Madden, MLB, The Show, whatever, they drop so quickly in price. Physically.
Yeah. They're
especially,
annuals, and they're not like Switch games. They're not like a Mario or a Link, or a Zelda game that's going to be the same price for about 17 years before it drops.
Yeah. The Switch games, Switch first party games, they retain their value for whatever reason. Nintendo's just very staunch in their game pricing. Activision's like, as soon as we stop selling at this rate, bring it down. As soon as we stop selling at that rate, bring it down again. They'd rather sell a bunch of copies than make the money of like being patient. Like Nintendo's like, we believe in our game so much that we're just going to continue to sell it at full price 3 years after it's been out. Breath of the Wild.
Still worth it.
That's one of those things that's like, it's like if you see that game on Prime Day for $30, you're getting a steal. Right? Like, yeah. Like, oh god, man. I actually did buy it on sale on Amazon for Switch because we already had it for Wii U, but I wanted to play it handheld. So, yeah. I mean, I know you could technically play it handheld on the Wii U, but then you have to a whole thing. But
it's prettier on the Switch. It does look better. It runs a lot better on the Switch. The Wii U struggled with it at moments.
Also, we had to replace the battery on our Wii U gamepad.
Oh boo.
But that wasn't bad. It was like $10 on Amazon or eBay or something, and then you just gotta replace it yourself. Yeah. I don't think it was hard. I think you had just a little tiny screwdriver, and that's it. Actually, I think the one that Pat bought came with a little tiny screwdriver. I don't know, but yeah, I don't mind paying $70 for a game, but I'm not paying $70 for Call of Duty. I'm paying $0 for Call of Duty because I'm not gonna play it, but. My point is that even these Ubisoft games that are coming out, I'm not paying $70 for them. If they are $70, because they're going to drop super fast. Like most AAA games do. And, I have enough to play without that. But did I pay $70 or am I paying $70 for Demon's Souls so I can have something to play on my PlayStation 5 day one? Yes. Am I paying $70 for Miles Morales? No, because it wasn't $70. But yes, because I'm buying the special edition that comes with a remastered version of 2018 Spider-Man, because we never finished that game and I want to finish it.
That's the only way you're going to get that
also,
on PS5, by the way.
And for some people, you know,
that's not true.
No,
that's not true. You're spinning it, Kyle.
I'm spinning
that's
it. Okay.
the only way. That's the only way you're getting the remastered edition on PS5.
Version of PS5. Sorry.
You could still put your PS4 Spider-Man into the PS5 or download it, you normies, and it'll play, and it'll play at upgraded resolution. It'll still have the old face, yes.
It'll still have the old face.
The new face doesn't bother me. I don't know why people...
It just bothers me because of what they're trying
younger,
to do.
But,
that's all.
I mean, I guarantee you it's just because they couldn't get that first actor for the next game.
No, they're trying... It's because they're trying...
Said...
No, the next Spider-Man game is scheduled to be released as the next big Spider-Man movie. Not 3, but the one after 3. So they're trying to schedule it in the same year. So they're trying to get the actor to slowly morph his way to a closer to Tom Holland face. And they're going to try to do a little tweaks up until they get to the next Spider-Man game, so they can kind of play off that Spider-Man movie, promos with their Spider-Man game being released in the same year. And, it's all marketing. That's why they're changing, the whole reason. But
Sean, how do you feel? Oh, sorry.
Oh, well, I was going to say,
Mike.
with the price points, it's strictly not for you sometimes, and sometimes it is. They're upping the price for the people who it's for. Like, if Ubisoft was still doing multiplayer Assassin's Creed games, I would pay $70 day one for that new Valhalla game. I wouldn't think twice. I'd pay $100 for it because, that's my jam. But, for other games, I would just wait.
Butthurt.
So if it's your game and you love that Madden that comes out every year, you love that NBA 2K that comes out every year, you can't wait to get it. You want it day one. That's who they're doing that $10 price hike for. But if you're just playing it because, hey, I want to get around to playing this, one day, that's not for you. You'll just wait till it goes back down to the regular, $60 price. So that's why they're doing the price hike, because they can, and people will pay it because, it's for their true fans.
Yep, the diehards. Sean, do you have an opinion on this?
Not really, because oh wait, what the $70 games or?
Yeah.
Or the Spider-Man change,
or Spider-Man.
We went through 7 different topics in this.
All the things.
The original topic. The original topic, which was
topic.
Games being raised to $70.
I'm not surprised. It's been talked about for years, and for the big AAA games, it's, I'm still gonna get the ones that I want. It's not gonna stop me. I don't know. But I kind of feel like for the people who bust their asses to make these games, it's kind of high time that it did go up a little bit. So I don't know. I'm in that camp.
Even though they probably won't see any of those profits.
What?
Yeah.
They say they probably won't see any of those profits because greed. But
true, but games cost a lot more to make nowadays than they used to.
They do.
So,
they absolutely do. Yeah.
It's not the individuals that are going to see the benefit, but the studios who are going to see a reason to keep making big games.
Yeah. They always say vote with your wallet. If everybody waits to buy it when it's on sale for $60, then they'll realize that $70 was a mistake. But that's not going to happen. So
pre-ordering. I'll get off of it. That's the hill I'll die on. That's the hill I will die on.
I pre-order everything because I'm trying to help out my buddy Eric at the local GameStop. Anyways,
Eric gives you a boatload of stuff from GameStop.
Yeah, Eric hooked me up with the PlayStation 5 and the Series X. So You know, I'm gonna keep giving him my
That's
pre-orders.
fine. I'm just saying. I will
Shut
not.
up, Eric.
Oh,
wait.
Who didn't get a Series X pre-order?
Me?
Who got 2?
You?
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's okay.
so
I can
my
wait.
pre-orders pay
I'm a
off.
patient man.
Well, good for you. So this article about this Call of Duty thing actually talks about, you know, in 2005 when Call of Duty was released, it was $59.99, and that was an industry altering price, because apparently that was like the first game that went up from $49.99. I don't really remember that, but another thing that people don't really seem to recognize as a real thing is inflation. $50 in 2005 is a lot more money than $50 nowadays. And if you want to go back even further than that, you know, N64 cartridges were really ridiculously expensive. You know, the
Some
fucking
Super Nintendo,
Atari
too.
2800 or whatever was like $600. You know how much, and that was like 1980 something. Like, you know how much $600 from 1980 something is worth nowadays? Like 2100. Like, that was a ridiculously expensive system. Redonkulous. How many times can I use that word?
A redonkulous amount.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Well, you know, I think that this could be a good thing for the industry. And, you know, if that means that people who, you know, that extra $10 is, you know, too much money for them, then, you know, they will just have to wait. I don't see $10 being a deal breaker to most people. You know, and that's what I gotta say about that. Well, here's the thing. I don't think I have one handy, but store manager Eric at my local GameStop, he prints out a SKU list for us, and ones that have set dates are have set dates, and ones that don't have set dates, you know, just have like a placeholder date, which is like normally, you know, 12/31/2020 until it's 12/31/2021. So there's certain games that, you know, Pat will like highlight, like, this is a game I want, and I'm like, don't pre-order that yet, it doesn't have a release date. Like Metroid Prime 4, you can pre-order that on Amazon right now. We have absolutely no information on when that's coming out. I would not pre-order that. But if I, you know, like, I mean, I guess games still get delayed, but, like, yeah, I guess that doesn't really fix the problem that Kyle had with his pre-orders that ruined his life. So, Duke Nukem
No.
forever.
Nope. Not Duke Nukem forever. Come
Alien.
on. Oh, you can do it. Come on. We can do this.
Colonial Marines.
There it is. Aliens, Colonial Marines. Never again.
I thought
That
you
was a
said
long
Duke
time
Nukem was
ago,
one,
too. I haven't pre-ordered a game in almost, God, that's been a while.
Well, if you don't buy physical games, there's no point. Because they're not going to run out of digital copies, you know? But, like, I got to pre-order shit because I got supply constraints to worry about.
Fair. Yeah, no, I'm 21st century digital boy.
I mean, I definitely understand. There is some times where I'm like, man, the Switch pisses me off more than the others. Like, man, I gotta open the little window and, like, push this thing out and, like, try to figure out how to finagle this thing out of the case, and then it's, like, hard to hold 2 cartridges in 2 cases at the same time, and the Switch, and you gotta put the Switch bothers me. The Switch games bother me, but the thing is that those are the physical copies that retain their value as the Switch games. It's like, I just want to play a different game. But,
yeah, if you have them digitally,
really
you can just open up the next game. It's great.
I do have some of my Switch games digitally, but all right, thanks everyone for joining us today on NixGIG Podcast, episode 1, the inaugural episode. We hope that you guys enjoyed yourselves, because we certainly did, and that you come out next week for another thrilling chapter of our video game ramblings. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell to get all the notifications. You know the drill, and we hope to see you back next week.